but now he can't put it on. Learn from a financial advisor. The news that the nemesis has gone bankrupt. Glenn hurried back to the supermarket. Tell Nancy this news, but Nancy didn't believe what he said at all. She also felt that Glenn was not doing his job all day long. All he did was to find the trouble of Jack. Glenn had no choice but to leave. Just got out of the supermarket. He saw his friend pick him up for a ride in a luxury car. He thought they would use the money to make some investment. Unexpectedly, the two of them squandered the money wantonly. Glenn was disappointed. Even good words of persuasion were of no avail. Had to confess that he was a billionaire. His friend forgot to hang up when he was so excited to hear it. The car drove straight into the sea. Several people had a party at the bar that night. Glenn, who didn't need to pretend to be poor, began to indulge himself wantonly. But soon he remembered Nancy. It would be nice if she was around at this time. Soon, Jack announced that the supermarket is about to close. Nancy also lost her job as an employee. Glenn thought for a second, isn't this an opportunity? So he immediately invited Nancy to have dinner with him. And ready to tell the truth to save the marriage, immediately he invited a 5-star chef. Prepare a sumptuous dinner. They couldn't let go of each other. After a sincere confession, Glenn was also at this time. Tell Nancy that she won the 300 million lottery. Nancy thought he was crazy poor, until Glenn took her to the garage converted into a luxury private room. Just realized that it was all true, but Nancy was not happy. She felt like Glenn had been cheating on her all this time. Still determined to get a divorce, Glenn was helpless. If he had no money, he was poor, rich and feeling cheated. It's hard to guess what a woman is thinking. On the second day, Nancy received an arrival notification. The amount is 100 million. She then received another email. It was the divorce agreement that Glenn had signed. Just when Nancy was depressed, a phone call told her that the supermarket had been bought. It can be reopened. The wealth manager handed over the ownership of the supermarket to her. The name registered above is none other than Nancy, and Glenn had long gone to the airport alone, ready to leave this sad place, to start a boring life. Knowing all this, how could Nancy let him go? So she hurried to the airport, finally found Glenn at the last minute before boarding. Nancy ran over quickly, went up and gave him a slap.
Si crees que dándome 12,5 millones de euros y comprándome un supermercado voy a volver contigo, es que me conoces muy poco.
Glenn knew she couldn't give him up. He immediately kissed. In the end, the two lived happily and richly.